All right, welcome to module number 1. With each of the modules, I will begin with a little video that goes over the specifics of each of the modules. That will be in the module 1 introduction or whatever introduction for the module. Take a moment here just to show you the module view. You can see this is everything within module 1. It all starts with either module 1 or M-1. This way we know which week or which module we're talking about. There's always going to be a module for each of the weeks. The modules have to be done in sequence. So you hit on the first page. That's the only way you can click on the second page. You have to view each page in order to get to the next page. So if you're just going to skip ahead to an assignment, you can't do that. You have to go through the pages in sequence. So on the introduction page, again, I will have a video that details everything within the module. This video was for last semester. I try to make fresh videos each week so that I can speak specifically to what we're going over in the class. First page after the introduction is how do I use Canvas? This has links to a resource that give details on how to navigate through Canvas. If you're already familiar, there might be something here that works for you. If you're not familiar, then go through this. Check it out. These specific links all go to the same resource. So once you're there, if you don't want to go back and forth, you don't have to. You can just kind of live in that resource and get familiar with Canvas. Open it up in a separate window, perhaps. But I tried to get some of the frequently asked questions on this page to help students just find things that they might be interested in. Then we have a netiquette infograph. This is just how we're going to comport ourselves online since this is an online class. Then we have our meet and greet discussion board. This is due by Friday. Everything within the week. I try to get the module set up by Monday. I'll get it set up by Sunday if I have the opportunity, but Monday, no later than Monday. And then you have the rest of the week until the following Sunday to get everything done. There are going to be some things like a discussion board that I might ask you to get things in by Friday. And that's specifically so that we have the opportunity to respond. I'd like 2 responses to each post, each discussion post. Each time you post into a discussion, I'd also like you to find 2 other students that you want to respond to and then respond. So the discussion board is an opportunity to introduce yourself. You can go ahead and use a video if you want, or you can just type something out. One thing I'd like you to include is the name by which you'd like to be referred. So if it's not listed as that in the gradebook or the roster, then just let me know how you want to be referred to. All right, then we have the syllabus. The syllabus is all of the rules and the expectations for the course. It'll have how the grades are going to be done, what the expectations are going to be. It's very important to go over the syllabus and make sure that you don't have any questions because these are the rules by which we're playing. It gives you all of the information. And also, it's got some good contact information for campus resources. So we couldn't have a syllabus post without a syllabus quiz. So I've indulged you by creating one. You're welcome. Then we have an introduction to the OERs. The OERs are the open educational resources that I'm going to be using. I went through these 3 different texts that are online and pulled out the information that I wanted to use for this class. So these are free. You're not going to have to buy a textbook for this class. I've gone through a lot of different texts. These are the 3 that I'm going with. I'm giving you the resources here only if you wanted to go back to these original texts and just look through any other aspect of it. I'm using very specific. I'm not going to send you back to the main one. I'll give you within the modules what we're going to be utilizing, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to go to these texts if you wanted to, because there is some good information in them. So they are fantastic resources. This is how I'm going to present them though. M-1 OER, that's the open educational resource, and I have the where it came from out of Oregon Rights. And this one's on research and critical reading. So I will provide you with all of the text within Canvas so you don't have to go to the original. Anytime you see OER, you just know that's the textbook. This is an important one. M-1 handout. This is on MLA document design. MLA document design is extremely important. Now, there are two different things that we're going to be talking about here. One is, what does an essay look like? This is what the essay page should look like. It should have your signature slug or name slug up here in the left-hand corner. It should have 1-inch margins. It should be single spaced. Should have indentations for new paragraphs. Should have a centered title. There is no subtitles. There's no pictures. There's no bullet points. There's no oddities like that in the papers. I just want text, and I want it to look like this. Now, this is specifically when we're turning in an essay. I still want you to follow MLA if you are integrating source work. And by that, I mean you're going to use in-text parenthetical citations that have the author's last name, the page number, parentheses, and punctuation, and then a works cited. If that doesn't make sense to you, please come talk to me. Let's discuss it. It does have examples of it within this document. It does explain how we're going to integrate sources. So we're not using APA. We're not going to have dates. I want page numbers. So it's just going to be author's last name, page number, parentheses, and punctuation. No comma, no PG for page, nothing like that. That, by the way, is just for any assignment in which you're utilizing sources. Love for you to use sources. So every assignment doesn't have to look like an essay. That's not what I'm saying. Only the essays have to look like an essay. But parenthetical citation has to be used specifically anytime you're integrating resources. So that is just the in-text parenthetical citation and the works cited. This is the first video. So we have all semester to talk about that. But if you have questions, if you have no clue what I'm talking about, please come talk to me. But this is something. I don't want to grade your paper if you're not using MLA. So I will just give it back to you and say, hey, you need to fix this. It needs to be MLA. That's not some weird fetish of mine either. That is very specifically per the English department that says students need to get out of here knowing how to use MLA. So that's why we're doing it. It's not just some oddity that I have. All right, then we have a video on good writing. And then we have the English 300 rubric. The English 300 rubric is the manner in which I'm going to grade papers, grade essays specifically. This is the criteria. I'm providing that with you right up front because I want you to understand it's not just some arbitrary grade that I throw on because I like the paper or don't like the paper. Ooh, I don't like that paper. I think I'm going to give it an F. I can't do that. I have to grade it on a very specific criteria, and we have to have like agreed upon rules by which we're going to look at this. So I'm giving you specifically what we're looking at for grades in this class. These lists are in hierarchy. So the very top of the list are the most high order tasks. The bottom ones are the lower order. They're the least important, although they're still important. Then we have a rubric assignment. Doesn't have to look like an essay. Doesn't. But just input it. Put it in a text. Put it in a document. Make it a PDF. Do something to submit it. If you have questions about the assignment, let me know. You're just breaking down the differences between a C and a D and an A and a C. Now, by the way, this is per the rubric. This is not off the top of your head. I gave you the rubric by which we are delineating these various grades. And my hope that you're going to utilize the rubric in order to make that delineation. All right, and that's it. That's what we've got. That is this week in a nutshell. I have office hours. I'm not going to do office hours in the first week. I will do it in the second week. However, if you want to meet with me, you can always reach out. If you want to send me an email, I will reply. So let's have a fantastic semester. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you.